Okay, so good morning class. So welcome to our subject, System Integration and Architecture. So our topic is about data flow diagram. So before that, let's have an attendance. Okay, attendance muna tayo. Okay, so today is October 12. Okay, attendance, kasug. Wait, group 2 pala, no? Section 2. So, section 2.
Yo.
Okay, attendance, Alva.
Nagpa-check up daw ng ubot niya, sir.
Sir, pina-check up niya daw yung puwet niya.
Nangyari sa pet niya.
May
Almost
bumukol daw, sir.
daw ano bukol, sir.
Oh, baka pigsa.
Ouch!
So, wala siya. Anyway. Kung totoo ang sinasabi niya, excuse, Mr. Alva.
Totoo, sir, totoo.
Okay, excuse.
Regarte,
Ah,
kita mo dyan yung share ko, ah.
Ano naman sinashare niyo? Okay, so, Balbin. Mr. Balbin. Jericho absent.
wala daw silang net, sir. Nagwawala-wala yung net nila.
Si Balbin ba yung nasa... So, wala naman dito. Okay. Oops. So, for the meantime, absent muna siya. No internet. Barcelona. Barcelona. Conflict. Cardona.
Present, sir, present.
Okay, good. Gakayan. Gakayan. Manuel. Absent. Gonzales.
Present, sir.
Present. Okay. Gerson.
Present, sir.
Present. Dictawa.
Sir.
Makugay.
Present, sir.
Martinez.
Present, sir.
Nelmida.
Sir, present.
Nero.
Sir.
Tiambao.
Kapit-pitak, present, sir.
Villanueva. Villanueva. Absent.
Sir, present.
Present. Bilorio. Bilorio.
Sir, present.
Present. Cabanela.
Present, sir.
Camense.
Sir, present.
Cardona. Ashley.
Sir, present.
Kiruela.
Present, sir.
Labsan.
Present, sir.
Ramirez.
Present, sir.
And Viloria.
Present, sir.
Okay, so I'll be para minsanan na I'll be discussing to you, ganun na lang. Discussion and then yung Google Meet natin, i-record ko na lang via OBS, and then later on it will be edited. Okay, so dalawa maging version ng natin ng video recording natin. Yung una is hindi siya edited, and then the second one will be edited. So tatanggalin ko yung mga ibang hindi kailangan. Okay? So for our topic today, so in our Google Classroom, medyo na late na yun nga kasi nagkaroon ako ng problema sa laptop. Niretrieve ko pa yung mga projects ng bibigat, and then trinay ko na i-upload na lang sa Google Drive. Tapos i-share ko na lang sa inyo yung mga sample projects ko. Okay, so for this subject, System Integration and Architecture, focus muna tayo sa data flow diagram. So I posted yung mga references dito. For our lecture, last week I give you a quiz. Yan, so 18 ang nag-turn in. So yung tatlo wala pa, Nelmida, Makugay, and Cardona. Kindly submit yung quiz. And then for the data flow diagram, yan. Kakapost ko lang, data flow diagram. And then references. Okay. Overview muna tayo for the data flow diagram. So pwede nyo naman makita dito. So we have, by the way, for the data flow diagram, nandyan we have the logical model, and then we have the physical model. Logical model, those are the non-technical pictorial representation of that depicts what a system is or does. And then for the physical model, a technical pictorial representation of that depicts what the system is or does and how the system is implemented. So we have the logical, and then we have the physical. Pero mas maganda yung isang reference dito. So pwede nyong basahin na lang yung PowerPoint presentation. And then another, we have this one, the tutorialspoint.com data flow diagram. So according to this reference, the logical data flow diagram, this type of the DFD concentrates on the system process. Mas madaling maintindihan. System process siya and flow of data in the system. For example, in the banking software system, how the data is moved between different entities. Now, for the physical data flow diagram, this type of data flow diagram shows how the data flow is actually implemented in the system. So, dalawa yun. So, nasa sa inyo kung logical or physical yung gagawin ninyong data flow diagram in our activity. And then we have the following components. By the way, para hindi kayo malito, marami kasing klase ng data flow diagram that you can use. But we'll be using, by the way, meron tayong reference dito, YouTube. And then later on, I'll be uploading yung video natin, recording dito. Okay, so gagamitin natin si Gain and Sarson data flow diagram. Yan. Okay, so ito yung example of the data flow diagram of Gain and Sarson diagram. In our YouTube or in other references, meron pang ibang data flow diagram, but we'll be focusing on Gain and Sarson data flow diagram. So for example here, i-open lang natin to. Okay, medyo mabagal. Good. Okay, so for the Gain and Sarson data flow diagram, the data flow diagrams are used to graphically present the flow of data in a business information system or transaction. So what is important here, hindi ko na babasahin lahat. We have the following symbol. So for example here, an entity, alam ba yung mga entities? Example of an entity, yung mga tao, for example, student. Pwede rin siyang office, pwede rin siyang, in some references, mga events. Yan. Pero karamihan mga konti yung mga tao, yung mga user. Okay? Yan. So we have the entity and then we have the data flow using the arrow and then we have the process. Ganito yung process niya. Bakit may number? Para masundan kung ano yung unang process, ano yung susunod na process, ano yung next process, and then so on the like. And then we have the data store. Yan lang. Ito lang yung pinaka-basic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yung ibang data flow diagram, they are using mga tao. For example, yung student, gagawin nilang tao yan. Yung ibang style of data flow diagram. Pero, nasa sa inyo kung anong gagamitin yung format ng data flow diagram. But, for me, it is advisable to use the data flow diagram of Gain and Sarson. Kasi mostly kasi ang ginagamit nila is ito. Yan. We have only 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, what are the entities? Yun nga, people, organization, etc. What are the process? Ito na by the way, pag sinabing process, those are, kailangan meron siyang verb. What is verb? Action word, for example. Yan. So, processes are the actions that directly change the data. So, it should be a verb. So, kailangan meron siyang verb. For example, create, add, insert, delete, etc. Okay, submit, verified. Okay, so dapat meron siyang verb dun sa process. And then the data flow is lines with allows that are used to mark where the data flows, kung saan siya pupunta yung next. Okay, straight line, basta meron siyang arrow. And then we have the data store. The data store or data stores are files or storage area that contains information that can be called on at a later date. So kung meron siyang database, yan, data store naman tayo. Okay? So ito yung example. Okay, so ayan. So for example, sa bangko naman to, meron tayong tatlong entity. So first, you have to identify your entity. Kung sino yung mga user. Si bank clerk, si customer, tsaka si external bank. Take note for data flow diagram, it's more on the system part. Ibig sabihin, ini-exclude natin si manual process. Kasi si manual process, siya yung sa flowchart o iba pang diagrams. Pero yung data flow diagram is used more on dun sa computerized o yung proposed system ninyo. Yan. So for example, si bank clerk. Bank clerk will create a new account details, will give new account details. Yan, pupunta and then set up an account. Ito yung process, set up account. And then after that, the account details will go to the database. Yan siya. And then si customer naman will provide the customer details. And same, okay, ano ba yung account details? Ito yung parang account number. Pag mag-open ka kasi ng bank account, kailangan mo ng bank number, di ba? Or account number. Sino magbibigay ng account number mo? Yung bangko. Sinong user? Si clerk. Saan manggagaling yung customer details? Siyempre kay customer. And then, together with that, pupunta yan sa account database. Okay, so meron din siyang mga number. May mga number yan, D1, database 1. Yan. Okay, so yun yung unang process niya. Kaya siya 1. Okay, 2. Bakit meron palang 1.0? Okay, so for example, meron pa siyang second process na in line with the setup account. Pwede magkaroon ng 1.1. Example, punta tayo sa draw.io. So meron tayong yan. So meron tayong clerk. So, draw.io ang ginagamit ko. Karamihan kasi kompleto ito eh. Entity relationship diagram, later on, gagamitin natin ang entity relationship diagram. General, okay, so pwede naman yung general, pero hanapin ko lang yung isang ito, pwede. Yan, so pag sasabihin din niya process, etc. Anyway, entity. Sa taas na lang, ito na lang. Or ito. Anyway, alam niyo naman na gamitin to, di ba? So, for example, si clerk. Ayan. Si clerk, meron siyang process. Ayan. So, for the meantime, ito muna. Dapat sana meron siyang number eh. So, 1.0. Si 1.0, setup. Setup. Account. Ito yung unang process niya. Tapos, okay, so maglagay tayo ng connection. Ang maganda dito, pwede mo siyang i-move. Tapos bahala na siya yung line na magbigay ng ano. Okay, so for example, ito, new account. New account details. Anong ginawa ko? Clinic ko lang yun, tapos nilagay ko lang. Okay, yung sinasabi ko kanina, what if meron pang second process, yung setup account? For example, kailangan pa natin siyang i-verify. Under siya ng setup account pa rin na, so pwedeng maglalagay tayo ng 1.1, then verify. Ayan. So, pwedeng ganyan. Ayan. So, magkakaroon ngayon siya ng sub. Ito yung tinatawag na sub. Dapat magkakapareho ah. Iba yung nagamit ko. Anyway, yan. Yan siya. Okay, so si clerk, magkikreate ng details, setup account, and then, if in case na yung setup account is meron pa siyang sub na process, so pwede yung pwede kayong gumawa ng sub niya, which is ito na 1.1. Okay, yan. And then pupunta yan sa database and etc. Yun yung yung kahit kaya siya meron siyang 1.1, ay 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 kung meron siyang sub process. Okay? Next, ito, si customer naman, using the system, can log in yung details niya. So, ilalagin niya, kasi meron yung mga, for example, yung mobile applications. So, pwede niyang i-check yung account niya, pero kailangan maglalagin muna si customer. So, pag nag-login siya, bago siya mag-login, kukunin muna sa database yung account, yung customer details niya. Kung siya nga yun. Okay? So, kukunin niya dyan, pupunta siya doon. And then, itong customer login details, ito yung tinatawag nilang tawag nito, I forgot. Yung history of transaction. Yung transaction history niya. Mostly, pinapa-require yun sa during capstone. Yung history, transaction. Kung kailan sila nag-login, kung anong ginawa nila, etc. Okay? So, yun. Kaya meron siyang ganyan at pupunta yan sa database. If in case na meron kayong ganun na feature, so pwede nyo lagyan ng ganito. Next process is magwi-withdraw na ngayon si customer. So, syempre, cash withdraw request. So, magre-request si customer and then withdraw cash, then i-update niya yung account balance. Actually, ito is a simple lang. Mas marami pang process dapat to eh. So, cash, withdraw request, then withdraw cash, then update dun sa database niya. Yung na-withdraw niya. And then, ilan yung cash na i-withdraw niya. Yan. So, ngayon, kapag meron siyang receipt, take note, ano to sa computer system to, hindi yung, ito yung amount na ibibigay niya, hindi yung babalik sa kanya yung cash. Okay? So, it's more on the system part. Huwag niyong ihahalo yung manual process. Normally kasi, nalilito yung mga student kung minsan napaghahalo nila yung manual process doon sa computerized. Okay? So, dapat focus lang kayo dun sa system. Then, next is magdi-deposit na ngayon siya. So, di-deposit niya yung cash, deposit cash, then update balance. Okay? So, dapat pa nga, meron pa nga, kung ako, i-correct ko to, dapat, bago siya makapag-deposit, dapat may babalik na information. Diba? May babalik, parang magre-request muna siya, dapat, deposit cash request, and then, kukunin niya yung information. Saka siya makakapag-cash in deposit. Okay? So, next is we have the transfer money kapag magpapadala siya ng pera. So, we have the transfer request from the customer, then we have the transfer money, and then, pag nakapag-transfer siya, pupunta yan sa account. Okay? And then, the last is, pwede na siyang mag-exit. This is just only a sample, hindi siya complete. Kung kukumpletuhin natin to, marami pa. So for example, ito nga, kailangan muna ng details ng customer bago siya makapag-deposit, di ba? Hindi naman agad-agad na makakapag-deposit kapag wala yung information ni customer and even yung bank transfer. Yan. Now, this is another. Ito yung labeling na sinasabi ko pala yung kanina. Yan, ito yung labeling, yung level 0 diagram, ito yung mga level. So we have order, for example, order system. Meron tayong check credit, meron tayong fill order, we have generate invoice. Okay? Kung titingnan niyo si fill order, so meron tayong si fill order, meron siyang check inventory, fill order, and then create back order. So, ibig sabihin itong fill order is meron siyang multiple sub-process. And these are the sub-process. Check inventory, fill order, create back order, and etc. Okay? And in case na meron pa siya ulit na sub-process, magle-level 2 na siya. Okay? So, we have level 0, level 1, and then magkakaroon na siya ng level 2, and so on. Ito yung level diagram natin. Okay, so, rules. Mali na nagkakaroon tayo ng entity to entity na wala siyang relationship or wala siyang process. Example, si student-teacher. Ano ngayon si student-teacher? Kung wala namang process. So, for example, student, okay, so yung mga mali, ganito. Saan na yung isa? Ito. Ito pala. Entity. Example lang. Yan. Ito si student. Okay? And then we have the teacher. Yan. Ano yung process? Di ba question yun? Question yun. So, kailangan magkakaroon siya ng process para malaman kung ano yung gagawin talaga niya. Diba? So, for example, so, ito lagay natin doon. Then, oops. Nasa taas yung line. Ayan. Meron yung iba, pwede mong i-break yung line. I mean,
Sir, present.
mamaya. Yung pwedeng anyway. I-discover nyo na lang kung paano siya mag-EL. Rounded. Anyway, ayun. Nawala. Rounded. Pwede palang ganun. Okay, so, the entity siya, hindi siya grounded. Rounded. So, process 1.0, siya ay submit activity. Okay? So, si student, magsasubmit siya ng activity. So, kailangan mo rin din to. Yung info flow niya o yung ibabato niya is yung activity. Okay? Yan. Submit activity. So, pupunta kay teacher yung activity. Yan. Or, pwede rin naman si teacher, kapag nasubmit na yung activity, teacher will check yung activity. Okay? Yan. So, kailangan bawal yung entity to entity. Kailangan meron siyang process. Okay? Mali din yung entity na pumunta na agad sa database na wala siyang process. Okay? So, always merong gitna si process. Mali din yung galing kay database, pumunta agad kay entity, kay student, na wala naman siyang ginawang process. So, kailangan meron siyang process. Always na ang gitna niya is yung process. Okay? Pero, pwede naman yung multiple process. Okay? I mean, yan. Copy paste ko na nga lang. Yan, pwedeng ganyan. Yung isang, pag ganito yung gagawin ninyo na, okay, so depende rin kasi kung pareho sila ng level. Pag submit activity, yung pangalawa naman is verify. Yan. Kung meron siyang verification, verify, activity, etc. So, pwede itong process to process. Basta bawal lang ito. Okay? Yan. So, we have the logical and physical DFD. Logical data flow diagram depicts how the business operates. And then the physical is depicts how the system will be implemented. Okay? So, parang this one is the actual activity, process activity, yung manual. And then we have the physical naman, this is the system. Pero normally, ang ginagamit ng mga nagda-diagram is we have the physical for the system. Iba ang ginagamit nila for the manual procedure. Yung manual procedure is pwede nang gamitin yung flowchart, etc. Although pwedeng both. Anyway, sabi ko nga, lahat ng diagrams, yung flowchart, pwede kayong gumawa ng manual procedure, and then pwede kayong gumawa ng system or yung computerized niya. And even the data flow diagram, same lang sila. Okay, so for example, we have the physical. So, build check form. Tignan nyo, meron siyang form, di ba? Now here, sa logical, okay. Logical naman, we have the validates the sales order, and etc. Papunta sa system. Tignan nyo, file yung ginamit niya dito. Dito naman, sales order. Manual, and we have the system. Yan, another example. Yan, pwede to, level 0, level 1. Okay? Pag ganito, level 0. Pag ganito, level 1, level 2, level 3. Makikita mo doon, okay? Yan. Oh, by the way, do you have any question regarding the data flow diagram? Anyone from the class? Anyone? Wala. Kung wala na kayong tanong, ako ang magtatanong.
Sir, mamaya nga eh.
Hmm? Oh, by the way, mamaya hindi na kasi na-discuss ko naman na. Ayan, so meron lang akong clarification dito. So later on, itong nire-record ko, ilalagay ko na dito. Hindi na siya naka-Google Meet ha. Kung makikita nyo, hindi ko ni-record yung Google Meet natin. Ang ginamit ko na ngayon is yung OBS. Recorded na siya, nire-record ko na. Para wala lang issues sa mga ownership. Okay? So, ayan.
Yes sir, para mapanood.
Para may upload ko na agad-agad. Ayan. Sinong present? Balbin. Wala.
Barcelona.
Barcelona present na. Okay. Sino pa?
Balvin sir, present.
Balbin? Present na, Balbin? Present na ba, Balbin?
Sir, present.
Ayun. Okay. Sino pa? Gonzales.
Sir?
Meron lang Gonzales?
Yes, sir.
Meron, present na. Okay, so all are present. Good. Yan. Okay, so, yun. Pag na-record ko na to, upload ko na agad para wala na akong utang sa inyo. So, sorry last week hindi ako nakapag-upload ng activities kasi nire-format ko yung laptop ko.
Okay lang sir, okay lang.
And then, ni-retrieve ko pa kasi yung mga projects kaya ginawa ko, binack-up ko na dun sa Google Drive yung mga projects, for example. Para maibigay ko na sa inyo. Ayan yung phone gap.
Okay lang, sir.
Alorma.
Sir, ginagaroon ng minute mamaya, no?
Hindi na kasi na-kuhan ko naman.
Alright.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Check ko lang kung nag-upload. Sana, no.
Sikarte.
What?
Pipitok ko naman.
Rapid.
Ayun, in-upload ko. Ang hirap kaya nito. Ilang oras ko ding hinintay itong kuhan. Anyway, ibibigay ko na lang itong mga resources ko. Yung mga nagawa na. Marami pa yan eh. Hindi ko lang na-retrieve yung iba. Okay, so, that's all.
Alright.
Do you
Bye
have-
sir, bye sir.
Bye, sir.
Ayun,
Bye,
so,
sir.
walang pala yung
Bye, sir.
activity ninyo yan regarding our...
Right.
Let's go.
Eric.
Oo.
Yun na. Okay, so yun lang.
Yes, sir.
If you don't have any question, wala na talaga, malinaw.
Wala na, sir.
Data flow diagram. Okay, so if you don't have any question, so see you next meeting and that will be next.
Bye
Yes,
sir,
sir.
love you.
Okay, bye.
Bye sir, bye sir.